This week in the podcast, we're getting emotional. We're asking, do games hit harder when you're a parent? From late night cry sessions to story moments that caught us off guard, we're breaking down the games that took a whole new meaning since having kids. Plus, in true Pixel Parents fashion, we're deciding whether it's deep emotional growth or just extreme sleep deprivation. And in this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, it's all about freedom as we crown the best open world game. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast. The show discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kelvin, and today I'm joined by the bearded one, Scott, the tastemaker. Curry, how are we, Scott?
That is indeed myself, proclaimed from the heavens, shiny one, all over again, shinier than ever before. I'm going to start polishing this fucker because, my God, it needs it. It needs it. I bought myself one of those wee shaver things that you go like that with.
Oh, right. Aye.
For audio listeners, one of those hand shavers that you can roll across your head. And I tell you something, Liam, it's changed my life. I was having to shave my head with one of those normal razors.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
a bic.
Fucking no, not good prison shave. No, like a wall WAHL shaver.
Oh, aye.
And it was just I kept on missing massive patches. I remember at your wee one's birthday party that I had a massive patch behind my ear that was only hidden by my glasses, and I was like, "Oh my God, what if someone looks at me? The shame." But I'll treat myself to a nice shaver for my head, and it's made a huge difference to the upkeep of this delightful mug, this glorious skull that I'm now rocking. So it's great. But apart from all that, I'm fine. We spoke about it earlier. You're tired this week for no reason. Like it's not been more tiring than any other normal week. But I've just been absolutely fucked. Like once it gets to like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm done, and that's usually prime Scott gaming time. So it's pretty upsetting. I also want to just say that you introduced yourself as Liam Cut Kelvin because you're obviously aware that the captions always get your name wrong.
That's right. Listen, it's the eternal struggle. I need to do it in real life as well, not just virtual. You know what I mean? Lord knows the amount of mishearings and misspellings of this surname I've had. The best one was Mr. Ludzelen. That I got a letter addressed to me when I was living at my mum's back in my 20s, and it was like, what even is this? Like,
Mr. Ludzelen.
And they're obviously being too polite to ask on whatever, contact centre I was calling in at the time. And I know the struggle and I appreciate it. And I'm like, I would have probably did the same thing. But it was just like Mr. Ludzelen. I'm like, where the hell do you even get that from?
Just change your name legally to that now. It's so much cooler. It sounds like a Pokemon.
If I was a Pokemon, yeah. No, but that's good to hear. I know what you mean about the whole tiredness thing, though. I've been saying that this week. I think there's something in the air, or it's just the humidity or something, because everybody I know is getting like really sore heads, myself included, really tired. And when you wake up in the morning, it's just like you've been battered. And, Chuck having a 5-year-old climbing into your bed at 5 a.m, watching YouTube videos with Donkey Kong Bananza, it just becomes this giant fever dream.
Hearing banana in your sleep.
Right, that's all I'm hearing. What's happening? And I'm glad to hear that you've invested in a Brillo pad to shave your head. So that's,
mate,
pretty good.
It's great. Honestly, it's changed my life. I have to recommend it. My bald brethren, if you're considering it, go for it. I think it's like an RX-5 or an RX-7 Remington or some shit like that. A gorgeous piece of kit.
That's it. Hashtag not sponsored, but open to offers. Send him all the head oils. That's all we need. That's the next step, though. I must admit, you can't help but admire when you have a bald gentleman and they have that looking like a cue ball, like properly shiny. Because I'm like, that ain't an easy thing to do.
I could not do it. Like the people who actually shave it, like proper Bic razor it down, gives me the fear. I'm like, worried that I'll scalp myself. You'll just see my actual skull through the head, just a flap.
Distinguished, clean shaven. No, more power to you, man. More power to you. I'm probably a couple of years off it, to be fair, but it's just effort at this point. I just ask Katie to do it every couple of weeks, and that's fine. And that does us. That does us. Beats me going to the barbers. I used to hate going to the barbers before I accepted the number 2. It was just like me and the barber just kind of like, aye, just do what you can. Just listen, number 2 at the sides and cut what's left at the top every single time.
Aye, it's funny. Like, I've regressed. So when I was growing up, I used to get like a 2 all over when I was younger, until I met my wife, and then it was I'll grow my hair out. In fact, I lie. Me and somebody in high school had a competition to see who could grow their hair longer over the course of a year, and I ended up with this huge emo haircut. Just like my sister used to have to straighten it and all that. It was ridiculous. And then I met my now wife, and I got my hair cut, and I came back in, and it was all flicky and weird and all that. And I was like, ooh. And then now I'm here. You know, baldness catches up to you. It's pain. I mean, it's incredible how I've never understood like marketing and on the internet, where I could be watching a YouTube video and it shows me something that I've been thinking about, right? Ridiculous. But if I'm on Instagram and I see adverts for the hair loss treatment, or if I see any more videos about like hair transplants, I'm going to be like, this is just getting too much. Like someone has literally reached inside my brain and realised all the thoughts. Because I think it'd be hilarious to come back with a hair transplant.
That would be hilarious if we just turned up for an episode and you were there sitting there like riding, just long blonde locks out of nowhere. It's like, what do you mean? So it's like this. I suppose if there was any type of video game haircut you could aspire to get, that would be a good one. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it. But I suppose I digress. We've got video games to talk about this week, Scott. So let's just get some housekeeping at the road before we can dive into it, because we've got some pretty tasty things, some sentimental things. We're going to get deep this week. Only knee deep, but yeah.
So deep.
We'll keep going. And so, of course, for anybody listening there just now, this is what off the rails already. This is the Pixel Parents Podcast, a weekly podcast by parents who game for those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming whilst raising little ones. Now, every Friday you can listen and see your old dads talk video games on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so please subscribe to us on YouTube if you're not there already, so you don't miss our mugs. And if you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello to us, share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com, or of course, leave a wee comment below. Getting used to all this new YouTube pattern, you see. And of course, if you like what you hear and you want to support this wee show of ours, you can leave a 5-star review and share this podcast online with your friends. It really does help us out. And of course, thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. So, with all that out the way, Scott, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, we're still there, Liam. I'm still down under. Getting close to finishing Death Stranding, I must say. So close that I can literally taste it. Taste the ending. This game has, jumped in terms of the mental moments. I wrote about it on Blue Sky this afternoon, because every single time I play Death Stranding, I'm up till 2-3 in the morning with it, just ridiculous times, and I'm so tired because of it. But there was a moment last night where something happened, no spoilers, but something happened, and I was just like, what is this real? Like, am I actually, is Hideo Kojima, what? Like, someone needs to ask him if he's okay, because this is just hilarious. Like, I cannot wait for you to get to this one moment, and you'll know exactly when it is and what it is. Right. It's akin to in Devil May Cry 5, where Dante gets the hat, and if everyone else in the world has seen this video where he does this Michael Jackson dance, and then that's it, and then it just continues on with this story. Like, Death Stranding, at the point where this all happens, is probably the most serious this game has been. Like, I'm now, 70, 80 hours in, and this game has hit heights, like, this is Hideo Kojima at its best. It's incredible. Like this is the application form for Hideo Kojima to start directing movies and stuff like that. Like I was watching it, I was like, this is his Matrix. And then I was watching it saying this is his Star Wars. Like everything just it's incredible. And then this 2 minute moment, like, what in the actual fuck is going on here? And I was just like, surely he can't be serious. But no, deadly serious, and then it plays off, and you're like, it's like it should taint this moment of just complete serious like craziness.
Mm-hmm.
But then this happens, and you're like, do you know what? It actually makes sense in the context as well. So it's like, how can he keep getting away with this? It's so stupid. I've abandoned the 5-star process with every distribution center because I've learned that it's not giving you 5 stars on purpose. So last night again, I posted a video where I gave loads of lost cargo and like completed 3 missions with one person, and it gave me 1,900 likes. And I swear, Liam, it was a toenail breadth of this star got filled, and I was like, why do this to me? Why fuck me around like this, Hideo? Like I am the one that's bashing this game, but it's just been incredible. Like this is legitimately, and I say this without candor and strip aside everything that I've ever said in the past. Pretend I don't like Hideo Kojima, but this is his this is his opus. This is his best work. It's ridiculous how good this is.
Mm.
I want to get away from a point in my life where I'm like, I want Hideo Kojima to direct Metal Gear Solid again. But I think I want him just with the sensibilities that he's made with this game, and like the crazy tone, the characters, the boss fights, everything in this game. It's just like if you could let him cook on a Metal Gear Solid game again, it would be something ridiculously special. But in a recent interview he gave, he was talking about his career with someone, and he was asked if he was going to play or even look at Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, and he was like, no. So I think he's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
But it's just outrageous how good this game is. But again, getting to a point where it's good 60, 70 hours in, where I don't know, by my own doing, it's probably longer, inflated numbers on that. Like you could go and play it right now and breeze through it. If you're just doing the main orders, I mean, you're flying through it. But that lessens the experience. Like I've had all this experience of being in different areas and stuff, and having to manage my way through that. But I just love it, Liam. I love the grind. It's like I love the pain, and I love all the characters and stuff. I never thought I'd be sitting here, Liam, thinking, give me an entire game of Dollman.
Yeah, true.
Give me more tomorrow. Like Elle Fanning in that game is ridiculous. Even like Rainey and stuff as well. Outrageous how good they are. But you can see, and I don't know if this is intentional, given the story implications and what's happened, whether Norman Reedus has been intentionally quietened in it. Like most of the dialogue comes from everyone else, and he's just kind of awkwardly lingering there, which I find a little bit strange. It kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 5 when Kiefer Sutherland was having to get paid money every single time he was to breathe in that game. So
it could be one of those ones where maybe they're trying to make his character more of a vessel for the player, as opposed to you're playing as Sam. Like you're playing Sam's story, you are playing as Sam, I suppose, is the difference, isn't it?
It makes sense. It does make sense. And I think in the context of it, the wider context and the narrative of it, it makes sense. It's just strange. Like, I just can't seem to get my head wrapped around it. But yeah, I love this game. It's ridiculous. And I don't think that's a shock to anyone given, my past history and experience with the first one. But I can see myself play. I'll be finished it hopefully tonight. I'll finish the game, and then by the time by this time next week, I'll likely have the platinum for it. Just battering my way through it.
To be to be cheeky here, but I mean, over 70 hours, Scott, that's well within the realms of being able to give this a score. So I'm going to
How dare
push you
you?
here. What would your final score be then for Death Stranding 2?
But personally, given all the praise I have for this, I can't see anything but this being a 10 out of 10 game. It's if Death Stranding, I don't think Death Stranding, the first one, is a 10 out of 10 game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an 8 or 9. And this game just takes everything that you've learned from the first one, amplifies it, makes it better, even minuscule things it makes better.
Yeah.
The character interactions, all the storylines woven your whole way through it, the corpus, the social strand system where you get to see messages from people, it's just giving you tons to learn about.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing that this game does is that it explains everything to you. Like the first one, it was a phenomenon and you didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one explains to you in endless detail what the Death Stranding is, why it happened, why we're here, what's happening next. And yeah, it's incredible. So Death Stranding 2 for me is absolutely 100% a 10 out of 10 game.
Awesome. That's exciting. That is
It
exciting.
is.
I'm actually looking forward to getting back to playing it, if I'm honest. I haven't played my PlayStation in a couple of weeks, just for obvious reasons, which I'll get to. But yeah, I think from what I had played, everything was such a step up and an improvement at Death Stranding 2. I'm nowhere near a position. I'm only about 20 hours in still to give it a score. But, it makes me excited for what's to come as I continue my journey. But I'm just really happy for you, man. I know this has been a game that you've been looking forward to. And, the summer of Kojima continues. If he's not playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, let me tell you, we both will be. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. But outside of Death Stranding, has there been anything else you've been playing, or has it just been all Mom and Beavis?
I mean, me, yeah. My daughter has been obsessed. This has been the breakout moment for the Switch this summer. And my daughter it's become her best friend over the summer when, maybe we're just having lunch or she's finished her lunch and she wants to just go and do something by herself. She'll just grab the Switch and she can go upstairs with it. I come back and she's powering through Mario. Like we finished Super Mario Wonder and she's gone back and she's playing it all again. Like even just playing the same levels over and over and over again. She's kind of graduated from Yoshi now. She'll sometimes go back to him, but she's on the Princess Peach train and she'll never look back now. And we're still working our way through Animal Crossing as well. She's still obsessed with that for about the first 5 minutes she plays it, and then she realizes that she has to do stuff. So the other night, it's like you get your first islanders, and then you have to build them homes. You have to find all the stuff to build the stuff, and then come back with it. And she just couldn't be bothered doing it. So she's like, "Daddy, can you do this?" So here I am running around shaking trees for branches and breaking up rocks for stones. And I still love that game. If it wasn't her island, I'd play it every single day and change everything because it's not the layout I would prefer, but it's her island and she's quite happy with it and she enjoys it. But apart from that, nothing really else. I've kind of flirted with a few other games, but every single time I turn my PlayStation on, it's Death Stranding. It's on.
Yeah.
It's in rest mode. I'll come back on. I'll log in, and then I'll just go back and play it all over again. And I've usually got something that I'm doing at that point. Like I know that the moment I go back to it, I am pretty much at the end of this story. Like it's it's so funny. There's a moment. There's a moment at the end. Not even at the end. Like 85% of the way through, where you go back to your private room, and Dollman's obviously hanging on the wall, sitting on his wee ledge, and you talk to him, and he's like that. Like the game starts to become self-aware, like total Hideo Kojima, and it's like it seems there's there's going to be a long cutscene coming up if you're ready for it, and then it's just like. And by all accounts, it was a fucking long cutscene, so it's so stupid, but
It delivered.
it did deliver. It absolutely did deliver, and the game continues to deliver. So I'm excited for that. And broaching the conversation of a Nintendo Switch 2 with my wife and still being like, she'll like it, the wee one will like it. But
We've got
I'm
'em.
still, I'm still
Ladies
no, I'm
and
still
gentlemen.
listen. I am not remotely interested in it. It's the wee one. And tomorrow's what is it? A partner direct?
Yes, it is. It'll be live and out there by the time this goes live. But on Thursday this week, at 2 p.m. UK time, there was a Nintendo Partner Direct. I'm having to speak in past tense, so I suppose, yeah, it's on YouTube.
On
I can't
YouTube now.
believe they announced the release date for redacted. So we'll find out.
What have you had to make one guess?
Mhm.
What would you say?
Um, is it head and heart type
Go
logic for
for it.
me? My heart wants Hades 2. I know that there have been some achievements that went live on Steam this week for it, but my head is saying it's going to be Hollow Knight Silk Song, and they'll somehow beat like Xbox to some type of scoop, even though I think it's not been announced for anything, but I think now's the time for them to kind of
To do it, to
do it.
unleash.
Yeah, because they
Makes
need to build
sense.
momentum with it now that they've finally got some behind it. But I think I would love some Hades 2 action on there. And there's just been other wee wins. I think, like, WWE 2K25 is on it, and it's meant to be fantastic because it actually runs well. And, I think 2K24 was a unmitigated disaster on the Switch. And this one apparently runs great. So wrestling fans, this is all the Switch 2 needed to do. Just make sure it starts to get these type of quality of games and cater to the masses, big kids and little kids, including yourself, Scott, who's absolutely going to buy a Switch 2. I can feel it.
Not before 2026. Trust me.
Feel it in the air.
Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. I just want more fighting games on it.
Well, that could also
Give
be
me.
something tomorrow. Oh,
Trust me. If tomorrow, if Bandai Namco come out and say, look, we've been cooking in the background. We've given you Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube, but how about a whole collection of Soul Calibur? A bit Soul
yeah,
Blade,
yeah.
Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur 3, Soul Calibur 4. I'd even take 5. And I'd be like, do you know what? And if they said that was locked to a Switch 2, Liam, you'd have me. You'd fucking
That's it.
have me. Over a
Sorted.
barrel. Would you call him? Miyamoto would be slapping me in the face with Joy-Cons
Yeah,
till the day I die. But no, man, that's all I want, because it seems to be these partner directs show off games that nobody was to ever expect, like the Capcom collections and stuff. So it'd be nice to see even like a Tekken collection or something like that, Tekken 8 on the Switch too.
yeah.
Um,
Probably you're going to get confirmation of Assassin's Creed Shadows as well,
yeah,
I'd imagine. Like, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit options out there just now.
yeah.
You're probably going to get some like pretty cool indie games, even if they're already announced, just reminders. I suppose like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is just hitting, which is meant to be fantastic. So
I saw the
might
reviews
want
for
to
that
check
today,
out.
looking good. What was the name
Um,
of that? There was a game. It was like a wee old guy.
you have to narrow it down.
No, wait a minute. I'll find it.
Okay.
You waffle for a second, and I will
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah, so I mean, there is like lots of potential on the Switch to it, and the best compliment I can give the machine, as I said a few weeks ago, is that it's a console that you want to play. It feels good to hold it in your hands, man, just because it's just that little bit of extra size, a little bit of girth that it's got to it that the original Switch was lacking. And it just feels great to play, man. Like, I'm always playing it now. And it's whether I'm using like the Pro controller on the TV, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm even using the Pro controller like here at my desk, and I've just got the Switch in handheld mode, like just kind of mounted up just because I can. Like, I'm using a mobile phone stand to kind of the Switch 2 perches nicely on it. It's a pretty meaty one, I have to admit. And yeah, it's just a great experience. But now is the time. I think the magic of giving the old Switch to the Wii one and you having the Switch 2, but then they also join in and play Switch 2 as a little treat, is great. It has its pitfalls, which I will come on to once you find out this game, Scott, because it's a doozy.
It's I can't remember if it was a direct that came on through, but it was the Eternal Life of Goldman.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a wee old guy. I think it was a platformer, and it was a wee old guy with a walking stick, and that game looked cool AF, bro.
month, possibly then to kind of get shown off
Halo.
again. We'll
Halo.
know. I can't imagine. Do you know what? Let's do it. Let's just do it. You know what I mean? Like,
let's just get them all on there.
I won't buy it.
I want Bioshock, the Bioshock collection on Nintendo Switch 2. Put Ghost of Tsushima on it. God of War 2018 on the Switch 2. Put everything on it. Helldivers 2 on the Switch 2.
That's probably the most realistic out of all of them.
But then the netcode on the Switch, is it better now? Like the internet on it?
No idea.
Good to know.
All I know is I can play Mario Kart World on it and still get spanked the same way that I did on the Switch with Mario Kart 8. So
can I ask your opinion on something before you tell us your yarn about the Switch 2? This kind of leads you on to it a little bit more. Has the world soured on Mario Kart World since Bananza?
No, I would just say that it's just a new hotness. That's all it is. Like, Mario Kart World is a very, very good Mario Kart game. It's like one of the better ones out there. It's at the top of the tree. It's got a fighting chance. Because I know a lot of people, could be Double Dash, could be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, could be Mario Kart 64 if you're a pervert. Just all these things. So it's Mario Kart World is like mechanically as good as you could ask a Mario Kart game to be. The problem is now it's a new console. It's just like the new shiny things coming out, and DK Bananza also has like that out of nowhere like surprise package element to it, which does lead me on to my week, Scott. So as you know, I have been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, continue to do so, and I'm just going to give like I don't know where to start here on this, right? Because I finished the game and I can give a final score.
You've finished the game?
Yeah.
Jeez, right,
which is more impressive given the context. But should I start with the story or should I start with my score? That's the question.
With the story.
Okay, I'll start with the story, right? So I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. As I mentioned last week, it's been something that I've been juggling save files, right? So I've got my save and I've got my son's save because it's like, right, you can play that as well. And it's something he's been obsessed with, continues to be obsessed with. If he's not playing that, he's playing Mario Odyssey on his Switch, which in turn has actually made him better at it, oddly enough. And he's just obsessed with these Odyssey and Bananza games just now. Anyhow, I digress. We've been progressing quite fine. It gets to Saturday, and there's 3 save files you can have. Now, I decided to make 2 out of the 3, just because I thought I'll have a wee backup, just in case, and he can have the one. And he really wanted to play my save, and I thought, no, like, you're making brilliant progress, and he had been. He probably got about almost a third of the way through on his own, with no help from me at all, beating the bosses and stuff. And I was like, you're doing great, just keep doing it. And because he gets such a buzz when he gets to the next layer, he beats a boss, he just figures it out because it's very good at signposting. And the challenge, while not great, it's still like satisfying to complete. So I'm loving that for him. And then I'm taking him up the stairs. I think we were just like going to get a break or something. It was him and my daughter were going to go up the stairs and just go play up in the rooms. And he's like, Dad, I deleted your saves. And I was like, no, you didn't. It's like, what are you talking about? He says, I did. And I was like, no, you didn't. You wouldn't do that. A few hours later, it's a bit of downtime. And I was like, right, I'm going to put up Donkey Kong Bonanza. Do you want to watch? And he was just quiet. You know where this is going. I go to load it up, and the wee bugger actually saved over both my saves with his. You're talking like a 25-hour save or something, and it was like the one that I was just meticulously doing all the challenges, collecting bananas, you name it. And Scott, I have never experienced rage like it in my life. And the worst part is, I can't do anything about it because it's so unreasonable. But in terms of a gamer parenting life lesson moment that you could pass on to the wee one, this was the chance to teach him about gamer etiquette. It's up there with don't eat crisps and touch the controller. It's like, why? And that's all I had. It was internally I was screaming. I was like, well, why would you do this? This absolute travesty, this attack on my very being. And he was just kind of like, he'd realised what he had done. And I think I managed to kind of get it out of him. that the reason he did it is because he didn't want me to be ahead of him in the game. So I was like, I don't believe this. My only son has absolutely betrayed me.
Betrayed me like this.
So
what would be other examples of gaming etiquette that you would pass on?
yeah, of course, like don't be a dick online. Whenever that day comes, don't go into lobbies with I don't know, Jimmy Savile 45 or something like that. Just avoid these people in Roblox lobbies. Just use your head. Think as well, if you're with your friends, pass the controller, be fair, that type of thing. If your friend's over, don't hog the good characters and stuff. Don't always hog player one, let them go, all that type of stuff. And also the main thing for me is don't get too competitive.
Yeah.
It's particularly if you're in that setting, it's that thing when the fun stops. And if you get too competitive, it all goes right out the window at that point. And I know that because we've all experienced it at some point as a kid. It's like, it's not nice if you're playing a fighting game or something like that and you keep on getting your ass handed to you. And one day and you're like, I don't really want to do this. But main thing for me is like, don't overwrite somebody else's save. Don't continue a game in somebody else's console and start playing it. That absolutely does my box in when somebody does that. And yeah, make sure that your controller is all clean hands, clean controller. That's one thing I'm constantly saying to him, especially now he's got his own Switch at this point. So I'm like, that cannot look like your tablet looked. And to be fair, he's a kid. He's not a particularly mucky kid, but he's a kid. So it's like they will have like they're not going to sit there and like wash their hands meticulously like an adult or a germophobic one. But it's like he's doing a really good job with it. I regularly just check out the Switch to make sure everything's working and that, see how he's getting on. And usually it's to charge it. But yeah, I digress. I come back to this betrayal, Scott. So, and to teach him the lesson, I did have to, enable the old da mode, I'm afraid to say, which was, you're not going to get to play Donkey Kong Bananza until I've finished it. So that's kind of given me a little bit of an impetus to finish it quickly as well, because I feel bad about it because he was having so much fun, but also I can't run the risk of this happening again because he's figured out how to do it, and he will just keep doing it because you'll find it funny. And it's a little bit with that competitive streak as well. If he's viewing progress almost like he doesn't want somebody else to be ahead of him, so he's overwritten it. So I'm like, But he's very much learned his lesson. He now looks forward to just kind of watch me play the game. Now that I've finished it, he can play it again, which is good. And I'm like, do you know what? If he overwrites my save, fair enough. I'm not going for 100% completion. I'd be quite happy just to kind of run through it. And that brings me to the score. Now, because of what happened to me, this crime that was committed against my progress, Scott, I've had to basically replay about 50% of what I was doing.
Okay.
Because I was about 2/3 of the way through, he was about 1/3 of the way through. And because I knew where I was going, I did manage to speedrun the living daylights out of this game to the point where I'm like, SGDQ. I think I can do it. Enter myself. Like, I was absolutely obliterating it to the point where my son was next to me. He's like, have you done that already? Like, he was pure, whoa, I can't believe this. And I'm like, me neither. But we managed to get through it. And do you know what? The game was still so much fun despite a forced second playthrough. And that's always a good start. Mm-hmm. Which leads me to give it my final score on this game. On our scale, I am confidently giving Donkey Kong Bananza a 10. 2 10s in the one show, Scott, man. It's disgusting. Just raining 10s. But
hallelujah.
It's raining, indeed. But I mean, this is like pure Nintendo magic from out of nowhere. I think the pedigree of that Odyssey team is shining through just in abundance, and they've delivered what's essentially a sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. But I mean, this is somebody that's now played through this game effectively twice, right? But the endless amounts of chaos and this addictive feedback of the simple act of destroying stuff around you never gets old. And it's never aimless, but just because there's always something in front of you. And I think I walk away just like being reminded this is one of these games that serves as a reminder just of why we both like to play games in the first place. Why we all like to play games, it's charming, it's peppering in all that nostalgia so well. Everything we talked about last week, but it's just re-established Donkey Kong for a new generation is what I'm so impressed by. They've managed to redefine him. He's off the, dare I say, the C tier list of Nintendo characters. Well, let's face it, it's a tough list. There's not many B tier ones in there. And I think this is easily going to be, my sons, daughters, all the kids' generations, Mario 64. And deservedly so. It's quite simply, Scott. I would say it's not just a Game of the Year contender for me personally, which it will be. Spoilers, it's definitely going to get a fighting chance on this list of ours at the end of the year. But this is a generational effort from Nintendo. I just think they continue to surprise us, to delight us, and yeah, I'm just utterly blown away, and I'm so happy that we managed to get a game like that this year because we needed it. And I'm not going to linger too much on it because I'll move on because we had a lot. If you want to hear more of our thoughts on Donkey Kong Bananza, it's Blood Time, just go check out last week's episode where we had Alex from the Mimics Vale on and we were waxing lyrical about it, and I might have gave it the greatest description of all time. Just saying, Scott.
It's almost perfect when I'm actually thinking about it.
It's almost sold you in a Switch too, almost. So
almost.
We shall see. But yeah, it's been a week of that's kind of been the main, the main protein source on this dish. For me this week, outside of that, of course, it's been peppering and usuals like Marvel Snap's been in and out. Although I must admit, that's just. I am just going through the motions in that game, and I have been for the longest time. I hate to say, there's a different feeling on the Alliance. It just feels like the game's got a bit of a bad juju around it, but we'll see if that changes. And I've been peppering in little tiny sessions with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 still, which is the ultimate just pick up and play. But I think it's more where it's situated. That's in the Xbox is in the living room just now. So over the weekend, I was feeling a wee bit worse for wear, did I say? And it was good just to kind of pick that up in between movie sessions. But I have to say, man, for me, ultimately this week, what I've come to realise is that my backlog, the year of the log, is growing. It's a big old log back there, Scott. And I say this just on the eve of what feels to be another wave of quality games coming at us. Talked about it earlier. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is there. Metal Gear Solid Delta. So, I had the aim of beating Death Stranding 2 before Metal Gear Solid Delta. Now, I'm about 20 hours in, third of the way through the map of Australia. I just feel like that's getting away from me at this point. I need to up the game here.
I think you'll be surprised, to be honest with you. It's thinking about where you are, I think you'll be fine. I think if you just mainline the story and didn't care too much about all the other stuff that you need to do, you'll be all right. You will be fine.
Hope so.
Yeah, you could easily power your foot, and it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I really am hoping so, and that I hate that feeling of putting the pressure on yourself to kind of finish it for the sake of it. So if I get through it, great. If I don't, I think I might just take my time. And Metal Gear Solid Delta is just going to be a must play. It's just going to be like I'll stop everything and pick that up because we're all so excited. There's the nostalgia element of playing this again, and it's not a long game, which is great. So it's always something that is very beatable and moving on. But I do know that since returning to office, I'd say my playtime has naturally decreased. You know what I mean? Just purely as I'm seeking an earlier night. I'm rarely staying up past 10:30 most nights. And coupled, with the heat wave, which takes you away from games, and a few other things happening at blockbuster movie nights. Seen Superman twice. We saw Fantastic Four last week, First Steps. I just feel like my gaming ultimately has been hampered. Not to mention, my son deleting save files and all that as well. So, it's been hampered a wee bit this summer. Despite using any spare moment I do have on DK and Marvel Snap. But I feel like right now, I don't know, I feel like if it's like a Royal Rumble and somebody's just kind of lying on the mat for a good 20 minutes, like, right, it's time to get back in the match and try and chuck some of these over the top rope. So that's kind of how I'm feeling just now. Feeling like I've got the energy back a bit to just start chipping away because I want to. There's nothing worse than forcing it, but I do want to. I'm like, no, it's time. It's time to get back in the game. focus is back on the old juggling games because I was so good at it.
The log.
The log must be tackled, Scott. The log.
I don't think my log this year's actually been pretty decent.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've been making my way through games. I'm walking fast, my face is past, and I'm homebound. It's been good. Once Death Stranding's out of the way, I think I'll have some time for a couple of other things before Metal Gear Solid. I might jump into Tony Hawk's just for a few nights just to see how that goes. But I've always got this burning urge to play like a Final Fantasy game that I haven't played before. I had a thought today that I wanted to replay something, but I can't remember what it was. And now isn't the time for that. Rebirth. Maybe. But I don't know if I could be bothered now. I think that'll be a next year job. So I've still got to leave time for The Witcher in this year. That's got to be done.
Yeah, you're running out of time.
Don't you worry. I'll make my way through it. I'll make my way through it. It's okay.
Yeah, it'll be August at the time of this going live, but it's a big old game, man. Like you could put in the time you've put into Death Stranding 2 and still be nowhere near.
I mean,
big old game.
I've put the time into Death Stranding 2 and I'm still nowhere near it. So it's like it's fine. I've still got. I mean, if we were looking at the 5 stars on this map, I'm probably 75% of the way there. Like I've done.
Okay.
If you split that map into thirds, I've done 2/3 of it, and then the last one is just bits and pieces. But we'll get there. The platinum will be obtained, and then we can move on.
It will be yours.
By the way, see before we move on and into the next part of this show, compliments to Hideo Kojima's taste in music. That man has the same taste in music as my wife, and it's sad girl music that he listens to. But my God, Woodkid, outrageous! This is the word of the episode. Just so good. I could listen to the piano version of To the Wilder on an endless loop. It is disgusting how good that is. I've been enjoying Magnolian as well. Incredible. There's also one of the wee songs in there. Couldn't tell you who sings it. I think it's like Grim or something like that. Love that as well. And see as the game goes on, oh my God, Liam, it's like another character in the story. He just weaves it in perfectly. There is legitimately a moment, and that's in the end parts of the game where I am at the moment, where it's like an action movie. Like the game just ramps up and the music joins it, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? What is going on? Honestly, man, generational, incredible stuff.
There's nothing better, and I think music can definitely make a game hit harder for you. That's for damn sure. But speaking of which, it leads us on to our main topic.
Ooh.
We're talking about games hitting harder, Scott. And this week, our main topic is titled "Do Games Hit Harder When You're a Parent?" Big question, Scott. Big one. Main topic this week's coming back to the old niche. That's been the Pixel Parents podcast and all that. But effectively, what we're wanting to do is, take a wee dive into the games that maybe unexpectedly broke us or lifted us up just after we became parents. Whether it's a story beat that's did it, something that just happens in a game that punches harder after the fact. Is it themes of lost love, legacy, moments that could just catch you off guard really during that 3 a.m. feeding session, or even now when you're past that stage. But effectively, the question I'm asking, and for us to answer here, is just: has parenthood effectively reshaped how we're playing and feel games? Is it something that we're just more sentimental, or are we just really fucking tired?
Really tired. I mean, it could be both, to be honest with you. It's definitely a mix of the two. But I think it would be hard to say that it doesn't change you. There's obviously moments in there that when you replay games or play games for the first time as a parent, it's like the relationship between parents and kids and stuff like that, or seeing what happens. It's just like, oh my God, it's so sad. I don't want to get into the moments that I've chosen myself because I want to get into this, but there are definitely moments that I've played in recent games and past games where I've had to take a moment and be like, this isn't right. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shouldn't feel this way. Like if I was playing this as not a parent, would I still feel this way? And it's hard to say that I would. Do you know what I mean? Like it's bizarre.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Like, I think I agree with you. It definitely changes, but I suppose it's gaming. All media, I suppose, it does definitely change. But gaming in particular, I think for me, it's because your time becomes an even more precious commodity. So games with like an emotional payoff or just any type of payoff, they hit harder because it feels more valuable to you. I
Yeah.
think that's just like a huge thing. Chuck in the sleep deprivation part as well, and which is a huge factor, especially in the early days. But that need for, we talk about it all the time, like the need for some you time
Mm-hmm.
that all parents need, all adults need, but particularly with when you get the kids scattering about, you need that after a long ass day. And I think it just makes for that more powerful emotional response after all that feeling. And just down to the sheer appreciation that you've got at this time that you've got to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose in that sense, I'd say for me, it does kind of mean a bit more, if I'm honest. And I hate kind of outing myself, I suppose, in that regard, because I don't say that to knock, you know, non-parents out there, fellow adult gamers. It's like, I'm not saying it doesn't matter to them. I suppose it's just you're a little bit more in tune to emotions that you didn't know you're in tune with when you
Yeah.
have kids. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the best way I can articulate it.
100%. It changes you as a person where
Mm.
you find yourself like feeling things differently that you never would have felt before. Being from Scotland, like Glasgow area, like genuinely not allowed to feel anything. To be honest with
Yeah,
you, like can't show any emotion or vulnerability. But in those moments in games where you do, my God, it feels good. Like
yeah,
there's almost like it's like a payoff when it happens. It's like oh. It's like
a release.
a release. It is a release. It's because we're guilty of it as humans, as adults, as 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 human beings. It's you bottle things up, and
Yeah,
these are the ways to get things out. I have a surefire way that if I'm feeling tense, and if I just want to drop the shoulders and to feel something,
hmm.
put on the end of Coco,
Oh God, hi.
listen to that grand sing "Remember Me," and I am gone. Like
Yeah,
goodbye. It's and I'm fine afterwards. It feels great. I've
mm,
sat I've I've sat at nights and I've put it on and it kills me. It kills
mm,
me, Liam. But it's it's incredible the
mm.
power that media can have on you.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
outrageous. Bringing it
Yeah,
back. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing back the word outrageous.
anti mama. I
No.
think it definitely it makes you. For me, I think I feel a little bit more reflective.
Mm,
Since becoming a dad, and I think it definitely has an impact on how I experience media, music. Like you mentioned it, even though it was a good segue into this, particularly with when it's in games, even in movies, but particularly if the music's hitting in games, man, it just adds to that overall feeling. If it's something particularly good and it connects, and yeah, it's just I can't really it's almost overwhelming. And I
hmm
know it's a concoction of all these things taken together. Context is important,
Yes.
and we'll get into a list of the actual specific games that have hit harder for us since becoming dads. But I think the context of the game is important and how you're feeling in terms of it hitting harder, the
hmm
message or whatever it's trying to do, and how you are at the time. Because you go through a vast amount of changes along with the wee one at the same time, and that's just life in general. There's ups
hmm
and downs, there's twos and fro's, and yeah, I think gaming. We spoke about it right when Greg Miller joined us on the show. We asked him that question. If he shares that sentiment, and he does, that gaming can be that form of therapy. And it's needed. I think I've had a couple of interactions over the past week, and outside of work, I'd have to say, not inside of work, but outside of work, and it's just been almost like you've had to hide the fact that you're a gamer, because
hmm
it's almost like, oh, you're too old for that, and I'm
Taboo.
kind of like, how dare, you know what I mean? It's like you've shut yourself off to a very, very cool and very, very, impactful and powerful medium, just for the sake of your thinking, like not all games are terrible old ones from the past.
Yeah.
Like the ones that they remember, at least that didn't click with them. It's like, no, they tell stories, they have characters, they have ways to connect with you, and they have ones for lots of different people from different backgrounds as well, which is the best thing about it, because you can play things that you would normally not be exposed to. Not every game out there is Shenmue. It's not going to blow the living daylights out of you. So it's that's it. Come at me. It's my heel turn. It's, there's so much out there, and I feel like that feeling of reflection for me as a dad, and I suppose like I'm wanting to kind of connect more with different types of characters that I have in the past, almost just in a way that I wouldn't beforehand. And there's examples of games that do it, Scott. So I'm going to stop waffling and just kind of ask you, just go one at a time, right? So, specific examples.
Telling you about my games, I'd like you to reflect on that Shenmue comment a bit, and then come back to us on that.
Absolutely terrible.
Disgusting. What a disgusting take. That's going to be my game for next year. You can play Shenmue 3.
Well, don't let me play that game again.
So it's
warm arse.
For me, there's the obvious games. There really are. But no, there's a moment in games. Now, I'd want to preface this with there are going to be spoilers in this conversation, because I'm not shying away from it. I can't be bothered to dealing with the possibility that someone hasn't played a game. Now, I'm going to mention the game first of all, and if you want to hear it, you can hear it. If you don't want to hear it, then figure it out.
You have to put your hand on your head for the length of time the spoiler chat was on.
Right, so with a hat. No, so the first game that I want to talk about is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I will give this a good 45 seconds, right? So I can see on the timer, I'm going to go from now. At the end of that game, when you're learning all about the stories and stuff, and you see Aerith, the Aerith scene when she gets dropped off at the train station by her mum, and you have to walk through the station trying to find someone to help her. And when you come back, she snuffed it. Now, this isn't a spoiler because it's a game that's made many moons ago, and this happens in the story very early on, but that whole scene as it plays out, when you see child Aerith standing there, it is horrifying. And it's like, if that was me when I was younger, if that was my daughter when what age she is now, I couldn't take it. I could not take it. It hit me in the feels harder than I think anything has hit me since. It's disgusting how sad it is.
It really is. Really is, man.
I'm just, and for a Final Fantasy game to give you that, because usually it's overproduced weird schlock that they give you, but it just gave us one of the greatest, saddest moments in history, and that's my first option for everyone.
Okay, well, I've got three, right, and I'm going to start with the obvious one because I'm going to get into very personal territory. I don't mind sharing it on the show, but with yourself, Scott. I think we've talked about it privately, but I'm going to build up to that because I need to be feeling brave. So I'll start with my obvious one, the low-hanging fruit, but it's still nonetheless true. For me, God of War 2018, right, is the most obvious one, right? But in 2018, I'd been a dad for about a year, and it's so blinkingly obvious, but it's true. The game did hit like a ton of bricks because it was the first time I remember playing a game and, recognising myself as a touch point within Kratos as a father, from what he's juggling, how he's thinking, that identity, the crisis effectively he's going through, who he is, who he wants to show to his child. For the first time ever, I could really attune and appreciate that parent role in a very, very light way, still being a new parent. So I couldn't completely be like, I know what that's like having a 12-year-old there, pal. But it's more like, wow, this is something that I could actually need to consider. And yeah, it was one that did really hit. And to this day, I was replaying it since and playing like Ragnarok years later with my son there, it's definitely like I think about that a little bit differently, I suppose, like because raising sons, raising daughters, it's not really about treating them differently, but it's like you've got to raise them to be a good person, and it's like hiding the worst parts of you in a sense, so that they can, but also showing it so that they don't make the same mistakes, the whole sins of the father type thing. It does. It hit like an absolute ton of bricks, and it's one thing I'm grateful for, because it's like I don't think that game would have hit as hard. I would have appreciated it for sure, but there was a resonance there that I think it just all completely down to being a parent and being a dad at the time. So I mean, that's ultimate dad simulator, God of War, for anybody out there. But yeah, that's my
Ultimate
first
dad
one.
simulator. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's correct though, and it's about like legacy and how you preserve that, and how you sort of lead them on that path and stuff
Mhm.
on a grander scale, obviously. But as parents, you just want to do the best thing for them, and Kratos, he tries so
Yeah.
hard, but is also so terrible because of past transgressions that eventually he gets there. And when he gets there, Liam, it's like the emotional payoff we all wanted. It's that Avengers Assemble moment where you're like, by God, he's fucking done it, and
He's
it
done it.
feels great. It feels so good. But yeah, it's the low hanging fruit, but nonetheless still tasty and juicy all the same. My second option, I read the brief for this episode and thought about it. And I want to talk about sad games, but I want to talk about what they meant for me at that moment,
Mhm.
because I played Red Dead Redemption 2 in the past. Now that was out in 2018,
Mhm.
and I played it and played it and played it and played it, and then finished it, and then didn't play it again until COVID,
Mhm.
which just so happened to be the year my little one was born,
Mhm.
which was hilarious fun, bringing a child up, stuck in the house.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
However, it did give a lot of time for you to sort of to learn more about being a parent and come out the other side better for it. Actually learn how to deal with my emotions and bring up this child, and teach them all the things they can learn. And then everything gets thrown out the window as soon as they can leave out, leave the house all over again. Where you have to teach them that human beings are safe
Yeah.
and that not all scary. However, it brings me to a moment that I remember so vividly, in playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the second time. And it was just the whole way through, just feeling like this isn't just a game about Arthur.
Mhm.
It is about what happens after Arthur, and how that changes John, how that changes everyone that he interacts with. And it was just like, we talk about the legacy conversation with God of War,
Mhm.
and it was very much, at surface level, but you see it impact everyone as you move through that story.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, like even something so small can have such an impact on things, even later on down the line. With we get to Red Dead Redemption 1, where you see it still impacting them. It's incredible. So it's definitely a conversation to be had about how you interact with people plays a big part on how they change over time. And it's something that as parents we have to think about all the time,
Yeah.
like how you interact with people, how that changes. And you have to be like, strangers in the house, treat them if they're nice, treat them nice, but if they're not,
Get
boot
them
them out. Aye,
out.
but also just tear jerking games, full stop.
Hmm.
I don't think Red Dead Redemption 2 is made to be sad. But when you play that for the second time, it's like almost like there's loss already.
Hmm.
And it coincided. My second playthrough for Red Dead Redemption 2 coincided not so long after my brother died. So it
Hmm.
was very much like, carrying that alongside with you. And there's something very, very therapeutic about just spending time meandering about the Wild West
Yeah.
and just experiencing that whole thing on a different level, where you're going through that the first time and you're all guns blazing, and then it hits you emotionally when it gets to that moment. Whereas you play it for a second time and you're grieving by the time the game starts,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to come to terms with that as the whole game goes through. It's disgusting how it does it to you, and it's incredible at what a second playthrough of a game will do for you when you get to see those moments and characters and the relationships build, and even just like Arthur's relationship with, like, what's John's wife's name again?
Abigail
And stuff as well. Like, incredible, man.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
I mean, I think I've replayed that game this year just before we moved, and you're right. Like, it's a game that begs. It sounds mad, considering it's not a short game, but it begs a second playthrough, and you do. Just it hits just as hard, if not harder, because you're there. It's right from the start. But yeah, no, it's a great shout. RDR2. I'll keep my my most personal one for the end here, but this one's like another story. Take me right back to when I first became a dad. And the game I'm picking isn't the one, but it's leading me on to the one that I'm picking, right? So it's Wolfenstein 2: The New Order, right? So it's a game that I was so buzzing for, and I loved it. It was a great game, but this was actually the first game that I remember playing after my daughter was born. But it just wasn't what I was after at that point. I was just going through the motions. It was all gaming felt so strange, like, because everything that you kind of know, and there's a time before and then there's the time after. But it's like there's a tiny human there we need to keep alive and make sure it's clean and all these other things, and you just go into that mode, and it's like, man, I just don't really know if Nazi blasting's really going to scratch the itch for me. But I felt that change. I remember distinctly that moment, despite being like, oh, okay. It was like watching like an ITV2 movie or something at that point. Like, this is just a distraction. But then enter the game that really did hit different for me. And it was because of this experience with Wolfenstein 2. It led me, of course, to picking up Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, it was that experience, Scott, of having that open world to meticulously complete. Something awakened in me. It was the completionist. It became that form of therapy for me after a long day, and after just slowly getting back in touch with who I was, I suppose. And in turn, I just started to appreciate the platinum. But it created that, it hit different because it was a new habit. My gaming, how I was playing games, had changed forevermore at that point. And it's not like every open world game I go through, but particularly it's like Assassin's Creed, as I've always said in the show, I'll go and I'll platinum the game because I'm almost kind of reliving that feeling. It's like a zen nature to it all. There's certain ones that I could do it with, certain ones that I can't because they're just simply too big. But with Origins, to get the platinum in that, you have to do every single little item. And it was all thanks to just that feeling of like, okay, another day. And it was that sensation of recharging your batteries and just slowly kind of, you feel cut adrift a little bit. At least I did. And you're having to kind of re-find yourself in there because it's like you are, like, your identity and who you are does change. It's not just about you, it's your second, and everything before that has to be on the wee one and your partner as well, and you kind of get lost in the mix a little bit, because you have to put others before yourself anyway, particularly if they are relying on you to stay alive. You kind of have to do that. But yeah, so that's my second pick for this. I'll keep my last one for after you.
Keep my last one safe and sound. One for me that has shaped my emotions and how I actually appreciate games is actually one that I play with my daughter very regularly. Or well, not so regularly now, which is hurt my feelings now. However, we used to have a raring old time playing Stardew Valley together. And when I say play it, we played that for ages. Like, got through like a full year in that game so quickly. And it was, Stardew Valley is the game that you make it. It can be emotional, it can be sad, you can have the highs of highs and the lows of lows. But there was a moment where we played this game where you can fish in that game. and it's fine. You fish and you stand at the water. But my daughter just went to the pier and she just looked out and she just watched the waves. And it's like, I think I spoke about it on the day it happened. Like, we recorded probably a couple of days afterwards, and it was very much just like, she sees this differently to me. Like, she's playing this game like the developers probably think you're intended to play it. We're all so caught up in running through, getting all the achievements, playing through it, as blasting through things as quickly as possible, beating a backlog, touching games for 5 minutes and then turning them down, because that's what games are now. They're a commodity. There's more games on Game Pass than ever before. Well, if Xbox continue to have their way, PlayStation Plus continues to get better. Nintendo Switch Online throwing up Japanese games that no one's ever heard of before. But sometimes it is just nice to just stop and just appreciate that moment. And I've tried to do it more now than ever before, where if there's a moment that I want to just stand and enjoy and just take a breath and just say, look, there are people making these games. This is the reason why they've made it. They don't want you just to run through it. They want you to enjoy the way this game looks, the curvature on this mountain, the fact there's a massive moon behind you. It's like, stop and appreciate these things. But it was, and I remember just saying to her, like, what are you doing? Like, I wasn't 100% sure if she was stuck or not, and I was like, what are you doing? And she's just like, I'm just watching the waves. Like, I'm just watching the water just to look out the ocean. It's like, you're so much cleverer than me already. Like, the fact that she just gets to sit and enjoy that. I'd love to just see and feel the emotions of a child's mind. Like, when your wee one's playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, is it just a case of battering through it to finish it? Or is there something else going on in their head as they're playing it? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But for me with Stardew Valley, and it only got better when we're talking about like setting up the whole situation for the farm over the next few seasons and stuff, and feeling her excitement and feeling the actual anticipation of things growing so we can sell it and buy these things. It's like, this is what it's all about. Like, this is why we do it, and this is why people make games. And we lose that over time. We're so listening to the Kind of Funny podcast last week, where they done that interview with that guy. God, the one I'll try and get his name just whilst I'm thinking about it. But he was talking about like being a game developer and talking about how people just play these games, throw them away, and don't even think about where they come from or how they're played or anything. And it's true, absolutely 100% true. What's his name again? Oliver something. Xavier Nelson or something like that. Xalavier Nelson.
It's Oliver Nelson.
Yeah, it's Oliver Nelson. There you go. Said it better than me. And it was just like, this is the reason why we do it. And it was just a stop and pause. Maybe not the most emotional moment for me. Like, I didn't go home and cry. I didn't take myself to the bathroom and just cry myself to death. But it was just like a gut punch. Like,
poignant.
It was like, I played these games like this in the past, and feeling that coming from her, it was like, we've lost something here as gamers, where we're so obsessed with, weird numbers on a PlayStation screen telling you that you've got kind of platinum trophies, that if your PlayStation account got hacked and you lost it all, then you'd be done. Do you know what I mean? So it's just ridiculous. And yeah, it was one of those moments that really hit this year, to be honest with you. It was something that I wanted to bring back up again.
I like that. That's a nice one. It's a nice story. I'm going to bring the mood down, Scott, as I do. For me, the last one here, a game that means a tremendous amount to myself and so many other gamers out there, but it hit different as a parent, and it is one I'm picking is Celeste. Of course, a game that I've talked about at length, just how much I love it on this show. Replayed it so many times, but I think I played it at a time when I'd say my mental health was suffering, I suppose. And it was down to the changes and the pressures, I suppose, of being a parent and being a dad, and it made it hit different. But the game's underlying message at that point, because I'm not going to sit here and say there was nothing diagnosable. I just wasn't feeling myself, I think. And I think that's a part of the parenthood journey. Something might last a day, might last longer, might not come at all. But in that moment, it's like, for me, I was just not feeling myself. Wasn't really vibing with oneself back then, I suppose you would say. And you're just in a bit of a funk, you're going through the motions a little bit, you're doing what's required, and that's it. But then Celeste came, and I thought, I'm going to give it a go. And then you boot up, playing it on the Switch, and that underlying message of just, you know what, just try. That's good enough. Just try, and you can overcome the mountain that's ahead of you, both metaphorically and relatively speaking in this game. And I thought, what a lovely message to have in your game, effectively, but something that resonated very deeply at the time, as it does for millions of other games that played this game for very differing and very similar reasons. And it's one for me, I think, that I'll always hold dear, because it just came at the right time. I'm not saying Celeste saved me, but it just made me think. It's like, I've not actually stopped to think about how I'm actually feeling in myself just now. And I think, it's definitely putting out those signals at the right time to kind of make me think a little bit differently and just kind of watch myself, which I'm grateful for, because I never did kind of go into any particular pits, I suppose, other than more of a funk, I would say, for myself.
It's natural. It is natural at that time. I remember it myself. It's overwhelming, and you feel like you're not enough, even though you can only do so much with a tiny baby. It's like you feel like you can't do more. Like, and there's obviously two parents that deal with it. For us, not all people have that, but for ourselves, it's two parents there, and you can juggle that load. But even then, it's still difficult. Like, it's still not easy.
Yeah.
You're both tired. You're eating a packet of chocolate digestives every single night. I mean, I've heard that story.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
It's disgusting.
Same with the kebab story as well, yeah.
It's outrageous. Like, I'd love to know my official weight pre-baby and post-baby. Because, like, as the baby comes out, the partner, the other partner gets fat. It's weird. Don't know how that works. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Games at that point in time are so necessary. Sorry to keep on bringing it up, but Death Stranding at that point had been out before COVID, and Hideo Kojima predicted it. But the mantra in the first Death Stranding game was "keep on keeping on," and you heard it all the time, and it was so necessary. Like, it felt like that was what was carrying you through that game, and it bled through. Like, it was just keep on keeping on, just get up, do the thing, and then everything else would be better on the other side of it. But you're talking about that funk, and I remember it myself. I remember having to go for a walk at like 10 o'clock at night because I was just broken. Like, it was just, I need to just breathe and take a minute just to like step away from things for 2 seconds and then come back. And then you come back and you're fine. Might not be fine, but you feel better for it. And that's what games are. They transport you into places that you don't have to deal with the pressures of life for an hour, 2 hours. You get to deal with the pressures of other people's lives, and it makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
Incredible stuff.
I would recommend anybody, pick up Celeste if you're ever feeling that way. But any game in general, like, just zone out. Don't think about anything. Switch your brain off. Although for us it's gaming, other people might want to read, or watching the TV doesn't really do it because of second screening. You pick up your phone, you're not really watching it, or you do that classic thing where you don't really want to watch something but your partner does, and you're like, oh, just watch anyway. But the next thing, you're doom scrolling and you go to bed and you don't really feel particularly fulfilled in those moments. And it's something, I think games that are very powerful, and they definitely do hit harder, for me anyway, since becoming a parent. And I think it is just all weaved into, again, what we said at the top, the context is important, how you're feeling, what the game's saying, but also it's the appreciation. It's the time that you get to indulge in oneself, I suppose, is very, very limited. So you definitely, it comes with its pitfalls. There's more pressure on yourself to make sure whatever you're playing is exactly it. You're probably less experimental than what you were beforehand, just because of sheer time constraints. But yeah, it definitely hits harder when it's good. That's definitely what I'd say. But yeah, it was actually quite good to talk about it, because it's been a while since we've actually had a proper parenting chat of sorts. We always pepper it in, but ones that come back to the main point.
It's going to be fun in the next few weeks, because we're going to have the big school return and first day chats and everything as well. So I'm excited for that.
I know, I'm looking forward to it. I've got the day off for it as well, so that's definitely going to help. And let me tell you, I shall be getting in some quality time after the emotional start to the day and end as well for the first day of school. But always a good laugh. But I think it's time then, Scott, for us to move on to the final segment of the show, which of course means that it is time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Now, last week's theme was Best Remake Game, with Resident Evil 4 becoming the latest addition to that list. And in this week's showdown, we're going to be debating, at long last, might I add, what best open world game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list.
See, when you messaged me about it, I was like, surely we've done this before. Surely we have.
We haven't.
We haven't? Yeah, disgusted by it, yeah.
But as always, last week's winner goes last, which I believe, Scott, was yourself and Alex as dual winners. So that'll be you. So let's get to it. I will keep things, nice and neat this week for us, Scott. I've got my honourable mention in the chamber, and then I've got my pick here. But my honourable mention goes to none other than Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, why? Because it's like a big holiday. It's just an incredible sense of place in this game, just exploring the land and sea of ancient Greece. You're going in between, Kefalonia and all the rest of it. It's genuinely like a wee holiday away, and you can almost smell the air as you're playing it. It did feel that year like I had got away somewhere, because it's so sunny, bright, vibrant. It felt alive. Everything was just a joy to explore, and I quite happily rinsed that head to tail, that game. And it's still probably my favourite open world Assassin's Creed game as a result, I'd say.
It was definitely necessary after Origins that they came out with a bang on this one, it felt. Is that right? Timeline-wise?
I loved Origins. I think
Origins felt like, the first step in it all, but this
proof
felt
of concept.
Like this felt like, we now understand the brief, and let's just cook. Apart from the weird male protagonist in it. Like, weird male face protagonist guy.
Alexios.
Didn't like him. Nah, I didn't like him.
Yeah, he was canonically he's not the protagonist. It must be Cassandra, who I played as. So I'm glad I didn't pick Alexios. So it made sense. But yeah, it was just an absolute banger of a game. I did try to go back to it recently, and it's just because of all those quality of life improvements that they made through the likes of Valhalla and Shadows as well. It does make it a wee bit more difficult. I mean, I've spent hundreds of hours in these games, Scott, shamefully. But I'll move on. Speaking of a game that I've spent hundreds of hours in. So my pick this week, it just simply had to be Grand Theft Auto 5. Had to be. I checked the list, checked it twice, made sure that it's not on there, and surprisingly it's not. So I thought, here we go, this is a tap in this week for me. It has to be Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, that game alone, the amount of hundreds of hours spent in it, the amount of times I've purchased it because of the state of San Andreas and the city of Los Santos, is absolutely just the greatest open world that's ever been made. Just so densely detailed, populated, endless stuff to do in the likes of GTA Online as well. it is a character in itself. It's so cliche to say, but it's such a high bar that's been set at all those years ago. What was that, 12 years ago? We've got GTA 6 on the horizon. I would be absolutely terrified at the prospect of trying to top that world, but we know that if there's anybody that can do it, it's them. But yeah, my pick is very expected, but it's Grand Theft Auto 5. It had to be.
Makes sense, to be honest with you. It was a tough one this week because a lot of the open world games are already on the list, which would have been easier to do it. But I think that when I think about open world games with, and there's games like Metal Gear Solid 5, for example, phenomenal open world, but the open world part of itself is actual shite. Like, it's everything you do in that game that makes it good. Games like Just Cause, for example, where you're flying around an open world and it's phenomenal, but again, doesn't feel great to do. But there are two games that, when I think about open worlds, living, breathing open worlds, there are two games that hit every single time. One of them's on the list and one of them isn't on the list.
Right, okay.
My honourable mention for this week is the one that is not on the list, and it goes to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
It feels like a world in itself. You are traversing this world and it has 100 different biomes. That's being exaggerating, but it has millions of different biomes in it.
No Man's Sky.
It's just, you're a horse ride away from swamplands. You're a horse ride away from Saint Denis, and it's like a wee city and stuff like that. It's incredible. Ridiculous effort. But there's only one game that really tops it. And, it would be hard to not pick this game as the best open world game, because this is the open world game of all open world games, I think. And, in agreement with yourself, it is absolutely Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes.
Having just played it for about 3 million hours, I could go back and do it all over again. Like, I could go back and replay that game all over again and still love it. The only gripes that I have with it is that, the world itself, living and breathing cars and stuff like that, but the buildings are not all utilised in that. But even so, like, the difference, how different it feels, where you could be in the middle of the city, 2 minutes later you're down, you're actually up in the boondocks, and it's like, the vibe is completely different. It feels different.
Yeah, it does.
They managed to do that so well that I don't know even how you would start with that whole process. Like, even just, it's not just the aesthetics of it, it's everything. The way the controller vibrates as you're driving through it. I don't know what it is, but it is, everything in that game is just a living, breathing, excellent open world, and it feels like you're saying Grand Theft Auto 6 has big shoes to fill. Like, this is someone standing in the shoes of Shaquille O'Neal. Do you know what I mean? Like, massive trousers to fill. It's just a ridiculous undertaking. But as you say, there's only one team that could do it.
Yeah,
there is.
It's ludicrous. The size of the challenge, but I mean, you nailed it there. Like, GTA 5, it made the intangible tangible within when you're playing it. It was like, it was the sights, the smells, the sounds of everywhere around it. You can hear it. It's like the little touches, like the sound of the motorway, cars ripping through it when you're nowhere near it, that you do get in inner city. But it's the fact that you could go and watch anything to do with Los Angeles on Netflix or wherever you're watching stuff, and it feels like you've been there, because GTA 5, the way that they've kind of, it's not Los Angeles, but it clearly is. It's like obviously inspired by it and condensed. The only thing that's really missing from it is probably a bit more dense Skid Row or something like that. But it's like incredible how they've managed to reference the real life locations so much. When you're playing it, it's all those little details, like little random alleyways that just have, overgrowth and, posters up there and garbage, all that other stuff that's about there, the way they're walking about.
you
could just inhabit it. No wonder you get these kind of real life like role playing
the
people.
role player and stuff like that. It's so easy for it. It's my own. As I say, my only gripe is that it's just not. It doesn't feel populated enough in terms of the world itself. But if you were to have a Grand Theft Auto game where you could literally go into every single place, it would be disgusting. Like there'd be too much to do, opening up every single drawer to search for pomade. But yeah, I mean, I did think about games like Cyberpunk and stuff like that, The Witcher, but they're already on the list. And they do deserve their flowers, but it feels like this feels like the poster child for open world.
Yeah,
like if you're making an open world game, this is what you make, and it deserves I mean, we're not going to add anything more. It's not going to be an accolade that they're going to put on the back of the box, but it deserves something, man, because it's an incredible, incredible game that continues to deliver. Do you know what I mean? Even now.
Exactly. So, I mean, there you go, 13 years later. Still winning awards, so congratulations to Grand Theft Auto 5. You've won the award that meant the most, which is you are the next entrance on the Pixel Picks list under our best open world game. And of course...
I'm surprised neither of us mentioned Mind's Eye.
Oh, God. Oh, how could I? I want a recount. I'm still... This is why reviews still have a place, because it's like I dodged a bullet because I was quite excited, interested in that game. I think we both were at the first review, and you see the footage now, and you're like, "Oh my God, that's really bad, really, really bad." But who knows? It might be something I might just do like I did with Suicide Squad and just pick it up for like £3 in a sale, and what will happen with Suicide Squad will happen with that. And I was thinking about it today. I was listening to it might have been Kind of Funny Games Daily, and they were talking about how Warner Bros. Might be looking to do like another multiplayer game akin to Suicide Squad. And I thought back to when I had booted that game up, and I shit you not, in the tutorial first 3 minutes the game crashed, and I turned it off, and I've never touched that game.
That's the goal. If we get so many subscribers on this show, we'll do a full playthrough of Suicide Squad for everyone.
Oh God, right, be careful what you wish for. So you've heard them now, just please go subscribe.
Don't know what the number is, I'll make the number up as I go along, but
man,
it would be hilarious. I'll go Shark Boy.
Shark Boy. Not Shark Boy. I think it's not a game that I'm looking forward to, but who knows? You can watch me painfully plod my way through it if we do reach, I don't know, 100 subscribers. There we go.
Right, okay.
That's lofty.
That's the treat. That's the treat for everyone. 100 subscribers.
Christ.
You get Suicide Squad.
Okay, the challenge is on. I'll man my word, I'll stick to it. But of course, that does mean it brings us to the end of this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us, and remember to support small independent games media like ourselves out there. So if you like what you hear and you did enjoy this podcast, please share on social media and tell your friends about us, or even leave us a wee 5-star review. That all helps us out, and it does make a huge, huge difference as well. Scott, it's test time, so where can our listeners find you online if they want to hear more from you?
You can find my beautiful shiny face plastered all over YouTube and TikTok at Pixel Parents somewhere, but you can also find me on Blue Sky at lamaman.bsky.social.
Lovely. And if you want to follow myself, you can get me on Blue Sky at carmelite.bsky.social. I have to admit, I've been a lot quieter on there recently than what I have been as usual, and I kind of go through little spells where I envious isn't the word, but I suppose I do envy people that can just kind of like just start talking to people they don't actually know, but they build up that little connection online in Blue Sky, which can be, very positive, almost to its detriment, where I just feel like I don't belong in a sense as a very naturally cynical individual. But I'm struggling a little bit with it, and I feel like it's suffering a bit because I feel like all I'm posting is stuff about the podcast, so I must do better.
Go in there and talk shite, man.
Yeah,
everyone just go and read all my tweets about skeets about Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, do that.
I'm literally never going to stop talking about it. But go and follow Liam. Go and ask him stuff, because it's nice to watch him suffer.
Yeah, ask me about Doctor Doom. That's what to do, and I'll gladly just fill in some blanks.
So what? before we go, 5-second review, 1-word review of Fantastic Four First Steps.
Fantastic.
There he is. There he is, folks. Incredible stuff.
I'm back. No, it was fantastic. I enjoyed it just as much as I did Superman. So there we go. There is no warning there at all.
I enjoyed it less than Superman.
No, I think they both. I think I read something earlier this week. It's like, superheroes are finally back, and it's like they never went away.
Never gone away.
It's just the audience. Some of the audience went away. It's like they've always been here, and the quality has been better than what it did at the start of the Phase 1 boom in the MCU. Yes, they don't want to hear it, but it's true. But anyway, come at me. I shall move on. Thank you to our producer and our music man, the very talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. Please do go show him some sweet nasty love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can, of course, listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. Of course, write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com, or if you're feeling a little bit saucy, leave a wee comment below. Tell us how parenting has affected your gaming habits, or just tell us what you're up to. It's always a delight to hear from you. Thank you to everybody that has been commenting on Spotify and YouTube. It does mean a lot. But until the next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thank you for listening.